Everybody, Ralph Havens here, autoimmuneanswers.com. And last night I went to bed thinking I can't really be having a heart attack. You know, Jen asked me, is this a heart attack? Because over the last few days, I guess since moving here to our new home, um, I started getting some left arm numbness and tingling, and last night there was actual pain in my biceps area and in back here in my triceps area, and I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? And I thought, I can't be having a heart attack. I'm like, I do too many things for my health and my diet and exercise and everything. And so I have a way to map the body, to put my hands on or to check it energetically and see if there's a problem in an organ. And I checked in with my heart. Jen said, are you mapping? And I mapped my heart, and no, my heart wasn't mapping. So then I mapped all the nerves and structures that go through the arm, and I was mapping there, and it felt like that. It felt like a nerve problem, but you want to be prudent, right? Careful. You don't want to miss something like a heart attack. And so I went to bed, and I woke up this morning and I realized, oh my goodness, there was a simple thing that I look for when I see clients that I saw for myself. And when I was in the other house, we had a big massage table that we had in the big room, and that's where I put my computer and worked. But here I have a really pretty little desk, and it's a good height and everything, but it's got a really hard edge, and part of the edge is curved that hits my forearm just right, or just wrong, where it puts a little pressure on that nerve and the ulnar nerve. And so so over time, a few weeks of being here, it was starting to get to me. And so I realized, oh, I gotta fix this. I gotta put a little pad. So I've got a little pad that I put here. It's made out of that Tempur-Pedic foam. It's actually a pillow, but it works really well. And I can already tell that it's going to be a lot better. And so when I was thinking of this video this morning, I thought, so many times people are looking to fix or heal some kind of condition, whether it's an autoimmune condition or some other chronic or mysterious condition or anxiety condition. And what I found is everybody's body is doing the best it can do. It's doing the best it can do. And so when we see something where there's a pain or a problem, or somebody can't move well, or they can't walk, or they have a lot of headaches or chronic conditions of sorts going on, it's a sign. It's how the person's body is trying to protect itself. And so kind of like when I couldn't run for 8 months, and I kept trying because of a spasm in my leg, and I kept trying to do massage and get my therapist to work on my leg and get different orthotics for my shoes, and nothing was helping until a therapist found that it was my heart back then. And she worked on me for 2 hours and doing this energetic work that we do now. And then I was able to run right away. And then it took me down this long path, and then my teeth quit having cavities after a year or so of doing that work. And then my anxiety and my sweaty hands condition went away. So all those things were protections for me. And once I cleared the conditions that my bodies were protecting me from, my heart, my liver, my GI tract, for me, those kind of areas and some of the deep emotional stuff, all those things were no longer needed. The sweaty hands, the anxiety, the breakdown in the teeth and having cavities. And so I was thinking of some clients that I've had in the past, and real simple things that that once we found, it made all the difference in the world. I've had a couple of people now with a condition. It's called ulcerative colitis, and it's a very serious condition. People actually bleed when they go to the bathroom, and the colon has a lot of problems in it. And there's drugs for it, and there's all sorts of things. Some people even resort to surgeries. And I had a couple of people a while back that we were working on their diet and getting all sorts of good changes going. And they were doing the mindset stuff. And then what I started to piece together for those two people was that they were going to bed with their cell phone right by their body, totally turned on, their Wi-Fi on, real close to them. And so they were getting electromagnetic radiation. And so we had them turn off their cell phone, use it only sparingly, keep it far away from their body when they used it, turn off the Wi-Fi when they didn't need it, hardwire their connections, turn on the Wi-Fi only when they absolutely needed to have that remote kind of Wi-Fi thing going, but then turn it off again, and their conditions went away. They quit having that serious bleeding condition. So we could have done a lot of energy work and a lot of healing work and a lot of trying to figure out the mindset and what's going on and supplements and all sorts of stuff. But it was so simple. Just turn off the Wi-Fi, turn off the cell phone. And you could think, well, that's such an inconvenience. But it's like, how inconvenient is having a serious medical condition, right? So I had a client that, so I'm giving you some ideas of where to look, and I'll tell you a little bit more of how you can find more of these kind of things. I had numerous clients where this was the example, and one in particular came to be 20 years of chronic pain. And you know, I know some people think, oh, Ralph, don't tell so many stories, don't tell testimonials, just you know, educate us or tell us other ways to talk. But I think stories are a really good way, because if you know it's been done for somebody else, then you've got a chance. You know, it's like, well, let me figure out how that person did it. And so I had a client that 20 years of very chronic pain, couldn't even lay on a treatment table. This was years ago in San Diego. And she would lay for a while and then get up and move, and the treatments were really fragmented like that. And I can see stuff and feel stuff. And I felt, oh, you're getting some gluten. You're getting gluten. It's affecting your colon. It's causing all sorts of chronic joint and muscle pain. And she says, no, I've been gluten-free for 20 years. And I would see her in Whole Foods, and she had her cart full of all this great food. And I thought, wow, what is going on? And so I'd work on her, and she would get better. And then she'd come back, and the pain was back. And I'd put my hands on her, and I'd feel that, wow, it got worse again. And I'd feel, well, you're getting gluten. And she's like, I'm not getting gluten. And so finally we found out that once a week she was going to communion and getting a little wafer once a week. And so she talked to her priest that she got a gluten-free wafer. And later I had another client from that same church. And so then the Episcopal priest, the woman said, everybody gets gluten-free wafers, so I don't need to deal with this. Everybody gets gluten-free wafers. So now then the communion was all gluten-free and they didn't have to worry about it. But her pain went away. And she'd been seeing a lot of practitioners for many, many years and dealing with lots and lots of pain. And she thought she was gluten-free. And one little bit was the key. And if you look in the medical research, that is the thing. There's a study from Clinical Rheumatology many years ago, a journal, and a nun had chronic autoimmune conditions, all sorts of conditions of all sorts, pain. And the doctors were finding severe gluten sensitivity issues when they did the tests. And so they recommended a gluten-free diet. And she's like, I can't, it's against God, because I have to go to communion. So that was her thing. And finally, so she went away, and the doctors were like, well, you know what, we tried. And they actually wrote this up in a journal article. And then the priest found out about it and said, for some reason, today's all about the church, right? The priest found out about it and said, oh, that's crazy. Let's just get you gluten-free communions, no big deal. And so then all of her chronic autoimmune conditions, I mean, all of it. And if you look in the medical research, this is common. This happens. If you have, there's, I think, 300 different condition symptoms in the medical literature that are affected by gluten. And the funny thing is, if you get a teeny bit once a month, then it doesn't work. You know, if you go gluten-free, but you get a teeny bit once a month, the medical research says that that doesn't work. Doesn't clear the autoimmune conditions or the chronic pains or all those, even things like schizophrenia and dementia. There's been examples in the medical literature of ALS going away, and the plaques in the brain going away, and dementia going away, and schizophrenia going away, MS going away. So not in every case, but in a significant portion of the cases, enough to be in the medical research, it shows that gluten sensitivity can be a very significant problem that's causing somebody not to heal. And so it can be that simple. Isn't that crazy? But people, it's so hard to get that in your awareness, right? It's like, oh, I'm mostly gluten-free. I follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time I do good, and 20% of the time I go and have pizza. It's like, seems like a nice way to live, but it won't fix it. And so there's many things besides the EMFs and besides the gluten. And for me, it was about just changing my workspace. But sometimes it can be that simple. Sometimes it can be the environment. You know, there's a term called Mad Hatters. I'm sure you've heard of it, Alice in Wonderland kind of stuff, and Mad Hatters, and people that did the felting of those hats way back in the day. They went mad. They went crazy. Dementia. They were psycho. They were weird. They lost their minds. And so they had a term called Mad Hatters. And it's because what they used was mercury to work on the hats. So, you know, if somebody's working in a refinery or working with a lot of heavy metals or doing some sort of stuff with toxic cleaning stuff, that could be a significant part of the problem. You know, right now there's a lot of lawsuits because Roundup, the glyphosate containing the stuff, the herbicide with glyphosate, it's called Roundup, is in the news because Bayer just bought it from Monsanto, and all these lawsuits are coming to be because we found out that Monsanto, with the emails that we've now have uncovered, they have uncovered, the lawyers, that Monsanto knew that Roundup, the glyphosate, would cause cancer and kill people. They knew it. And so all this got found out. So now these thousands of cases are coming with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Hodgkin's lymphoma kind of things that were shown to be caused by Roundup that Monsanto knew about. And it looks like the company that bought that, Bayer, might be in big trouble because they're positioned to lose a lot of money over this. Thank God we're finding out, though. Yet you can still find Roundup in the Home Depot and the Lowe's and all the home improvement stores, and you can still find Roundup. But if somebody's spraying that on their lawn, it could be a significant part of their problem. So the environment, internal environment, what you put in your body, your external environment, what you're around, can make a huge difference. And if you want more of this kind of information, I made a 4-part video series, and you can go get it for free. Just go to autoimmuneanswers.com, autoimmuneanswers.com, and just enter your email, and you'll get a whole series of things and get a whole bunch of cool emails about it too. And a bunch more ways of how you can find what's possibly going on with you. So if you're dealing with a chronic thing, a mysterious condition, an autoimmune condition, an anxiety condition, and you've seen lots of practitioners and you've done really good work on so many levels, but you're still dealing with something, it could be a pretty simple thing. Could be a few things. It's what I do. It's how I find, it's what I do. I find this kind of stuff, and people do work with me one-on-one. But right now I'm talking about just going to autoimmuneanswers.com and signing up and getting a 4-part video series. You can click through all 4 of the videos, and there's a lot of cool information in there, and I think it'll help you. So let me know what you think, and let me know what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a chronic condition, an autoimmune condition, I help people get to these root causes and really clear them so that you can get healthy and happy and whole and get your lives back. So so that's my wish for you today, and I hope to see you all very soon. All right now.